Interlagos. 4.309 kilometers of left-handed turns, which is kind of weird, right? In Formula One terms, Tim.
Yes.
And of course, let's also not forget that this track ain't flat and it's rarely dry. And I love the fact that you took the Kick Sauber team because of Gabriel Bortoleto. And inadvertently, as weird as the green colors are for the Sauber team, it kind of fits in Brazil. National colors,
It
right?
does. I love Brazil. Adam, do you like meat?
I've been to a Brazilian steakhouse, but in Alberta. So pretty good, but not the same. They're known for their beef in Alberta. They are.
It's a
Little different. You've been to this, haven't you? You've been to the Brazilian Grand Prix.
Their meat, I love meat, is delicious.
It's the best, huh?
Oh,
You've been to the circuit, have you not?
I have never.
You've never been to the circuit? Oh, okay. I thought you had. Okay. All right. Well, listen.
Never have I been here, but I know the track well. Have done it on a different type of a sim. Got to play around with this sim a little bit. Characteristics are actually really similar, so we can go through this and
Let's get
explore, and I can run you through what the drivers will be looking out for on a lap.
So this track was actually built right before World War II, but obviously the modern layout has been the one they've used since the 90s. And one of the things that I talked about, there you go, Tim, is that it is not a flat track known for its undulations, which I love that word.
Very much. There is a lot of undulations here, Adam. This is where Fernando Alonso and Mark Webber had a massive accident back in the day. I want to say 2004, maybe?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the car that Mark Webber was going to give him that car, and he totaled it.
He was in the Jaguar, I believe?
Yeah.
I believe he was in the Jaguar.
Oh, he's in the Jag. Oh, not the Red Bull. Oh, okay, all right, fair enough.
So, opening a lap, obviously, some of the drivers can use the right-hand side of the road here. Not many do.
Yep.
However, I've been using this little pole here as my braking reference. One of the things with this corner, turn one, has a lot of camber in it. And so essentially, you want to brake in a straight line as much as you can, but the front left tire, as you're sort of turning in, is going to become a little bit unloaded because of that camber that is in the corner. So it can be prone to locking a lot of the time, so something to look out for with this particular corner, especially on a push lap. And then you're sort of flat out from here on out. It's pretty straightforward stuff coming out of here. It's 4th gear, 5th gear, 6th gear, 7th gear, 8th gear through the DRS. And that sort of ends Sector 1 quite straightforward, really. As we come down here, though, to the next turn, this one's a little bit trickier. You'll see some locking in the rear of the car.
As we just saw as Tim spun it out.
I think I've got the brake bias set a little too rearwards. However, I just broke a bunch of signs. I'll break a few more. So for here, on a push lap, Adam, you may see some drivers sacrifice the braking zone here.
Right.
And what I mean by that is, like, you want to start your braking on the limit on a push lap, around 75 meters. So you're going to be in and around here somewhere. If you want to be a little more conservative, let's say a driver is on a really good push lap and Sector 1 was purple for them, and maybe they're thinking like, hey, I can never really get that braking reference just right heading into this section. Then you would want to try and pull back a little bit and maybe, err on the side of caution, brake a little bit earlier, because it's kind of like threading a needle through here. And you want to try and get it as pitch perfect as possible, because what will end up happening is you can take a bit of this curbing, but you're going to be in 3rd gear and flat out, like from here on out. So if you're missing that braking zone, or you're braking a little bit too deep, the chances of you getting a ton of understeer and trying to make the apex and get back to power, slim to none, and you killed the lap completely.
Wow. Right there.
Right there.
Wow.
So it's a very particular corner that, like I had said, it's like threading sort of the eye of the needle. It's a corner you kind of want to err on the side of caution, just so you can get flat out coming out of it. And this is all straightforward. This is all flat out all the way up to 7th, maybe 8th gear if you're lucky. And this section's really high speed, so you're down into 6th, you're turning in, you're back on the power, full throttle, all the way up the hill, and getting your braking right here is very important, because you want to make sure you're carrying speed through the apex.
Yes.
And depending on what type of a setup the drivers have on the car for this section. Let's say you're running a lot of downforce. If you're running a lot of downforce, then you do want to come over and start using some of this curbing. However, if you're not running a lot of downforce, you kind of tend to want to make your way away from it a bit more. Use a bit more of the camber that's already in the road. So if you can see, it's sort of like on a slant.
So it's almost NASCAR-like,
Exactly.
Right?
So if you can find a way of utilizing that, so a bit of that compromise where, okay, if we don't run a ton of downforce here, we'll be fast on the straightaways. And we can gain some extra time there because I can handle the car through this tricky section here and not need that amount of downforce to drive my way out of it. Does that make sense?
Yes, of course.
And so when you're coming out of here, you're squeezing back on the throttle because you're full throttle from here, braking around here, down into third gear again. And for here, some drivers tackle it differently. For me, I like to really turn in quite aggressively, generate some front tire temperature, really sort of spike the temps in the front tires. And that is going to help me get in towards the apex because I don't need to worry about going all the way over to the left-hand side because I want to kind of keep it around here. So I can get a good positive turn in, get to the apex, get to the middle of the track, get back, squeeze on the power, full throttle again, all the way through here. And again, another corner coming up where it's like threading that eye of the needle sort of deal where it's like you want to like be aggressive with the braking, need to get down to third gear, need to carry speed, but have to avoid touching the apex curbing here.
Okay.
At least in the game. Like the game really doesn't like it when you do it. Like
because it pops you up, you lose the wheel spin, all that
100%.
stuff. Right?
Now if you take a look at the corner,
it's tight.
It's tight. Right. So, but it's also a place where if you carry enough speed in, you got to get back to the power, full throttle right away so you can get up that hill. And so if you're braking just that tiny bit earlier, you can navigate this a little smoother. So again, if you're on a push lap, your purple sector 1, purple sector 2, and you're coming in here, again, another corner that can really just totally screw the lap.
So it's interesting because there's so many parts about this this track where you're full force. Yeah. But then there's a couple of points, it seems, where if you don't nail it, going about as fast as you can possibly go, your whole lap is toast.
100%.
There's no recovery.
100%.
Okay. So this is all go and basically no forgiveness.
Exactly. The other part of it, too, is see how we have grass on the right-hand side here?
Yeah.
If you're coming down out of that corner and you're coming hard into the braking section, you need to make sure you're using all of the road because like we had pointed out, it's tight, right? And you need to sort of find a way of opening it up a bit more. So if you can use as much of this pavement as you can, that's going to help you. But if you misjudge it by a few inches, your tires are going to grab this grass. And what we did when we first started, you saw that I spun. Yeah, it's going to immediately
now,
turn you
let me
around.
ask you about this particular corner, especially in the wet. This is a really tight spot.
Yeah, another
if you
corner.
grab a little bit of the grass in the wet, you might get away with it. But let's say you get away with it, but then you got to hit that corner. You got grass in your wheel. Is that going to affect any sort of cornering, or does that kind of stuff just blow off? I'm a fan here. I don't know the answer to that.
Honestly, Adam, as soon as you touch the grass in the wet, you're gone.
Okay.
Like, forget it. It basically, grass in the wet speeds the car up. It makes the car go even faster. So if you come down and you're braking, but you get too close, again, that,
So you'll see the grass wheels, the outside wheels spin it.
Oh, you'll be gone.
Wow.
You'll be gone. And especially if you're like, let's say you misjudge the braking. So you misjudge the braking in the wet because we are going to get rain for this weekend. It just depends when and where it's going to hit.
That's Brazil, baby.
Yeah, exactly. If you go off here, right, we've seen it in the past. I mean, Kimi Räikkönen stands out to me for a couple of times. But as soon as you hit this and it's wet, see you later.
There's no stop.
Well, there's nothing you can do. It's going to speed the car up and make you go even faster.
Wow.
Even if you're going
basically become a Frisbee.
Yeah, and if you put your foot on the brake pedal, even faster.
Wow.
Because the tires will go, whoop, and it'll just go, whew.
Okay. All right. So let's finish out this lap because, assuming, Tim, that it is a beautiful sunny day. and we don't catch the grass.
Love a beautiful
How do we
sunny
finish
day.
the lap strong? We've gotten through the 2 real pain points.
Yeah.
How do we finish?
Coming up through this hill, again, as soon as you get out of here, you want to get right back to the power, foot flat to the floor, and just bang through these gears all the way to the start-finish line. Again, this stuff is blind, so if someone is spun on the other side, you're not going to see it. That's what happened with Mark Webber, Fernando Alonso, et cetera, in the past.
Wow.
So you got to be careful with that. And
This-
that is essentially a little step-by-step.
This is also known as one of the best atmospheres in Formula One,
Oh,
right?
it's great.
It's also one of the best viewing experiences in Formula One. If you look at, even in the sim, you can see these amazing angles high up on hills,
Yep.
right? Because it's a hilly sort of track, looking down on the cars, which is amazing from a viewer standpoint. I know this sounds like a stupid question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. These are drivers in loud cars with helmets on. But does a crowd play any sort of factor, especially a Brazilian crowd who are not known for being quiet, in the race at all, other than the excitement of winning?
Well, I mean, I think Senna, when Senna won here, and I'm sure he heard the crowd because they all came down.
They just attacked him.
Yeah, they all came down like mobbed him, even though he was having problems with his shoulders and all that, and he couldn't get out of the car and was passing out from all the pain and stuff like that. What a legend. Yeah, I don't think the drivers are going to be able to hear the fans
Okay.
whatsoever. It is so hard even to hear yourself think at times because of how loud the engine is and all that.
Well, that's what makes Formula One so unique too. I had to ask the question because this track,
That's a good question.
it's going to be the loudest,
Yeah, it's
right?
a good question. I remember though, so when Mark Webber retired, I don't know if you remember this, but his cool down lap, what he did was he took his helmet off and he drove. I think it was probably like from sector 3. He finally had his helmet off. And people can go and Google this or YouTube it because it's really cool. But Webber took his helmet off and he basically threw the helmet inside of his lap and he just drove around, took in the atmosphere, took in like all the wind blowing in his face, and he's like this, right? Because there's
It's sort of like, of course not.
You know, at first I was like, oh, that's really great. I love you, Mark. I'm like, that must be really hard to see.
Yeah, if there's any
I was
bugs
like,
too,
oh my God.
man, watch out.
But all the air, just shooting into his eyelids. I don't know how he saw anything, but it was a cool moment, cool for pictures. And I believe, if I remember correctly, he had said that the reason he did it was so he could finally feel the air in his face.
There you go. Mark Webber, eternal legend of the sport. And Tim Hauraney, thank you so much for taking us through Interlagos. We're looking forward to this. It's going to be a strong, strong end of the Formula One season. Three guys in contention.
4 races left.
4 races to go. And by the way, on the rest of the podcast, we're going to get into those races because there's one that you're not quite thinking about that you should be.